What's going on, people? Welcome to the news, the podcast. Me, Michael, Laz, we're back at it again. It's a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. We're out here doing the thing. I hope everyone's having a good week, enjoying their time with friends, family, enjoying the coronavirus, enjoying the lockdown, enjoying the current world that we live in. If it's a first-time listener, this podcast, we talk about all the serious events happening in the world. I give all of my professional opinions about everything that's happening across borders. It's happening in my state. It's happening everywhere. The history of time is talked about and experienced this podcast. And it's all truthful. It's all honest. And it's all, none of it's opinion-based. All of it's factual-based. Especially times like this, we need people like me to only speak the truth. Nothing but the truth. Nothing less than the truth. Because that's what I pride myself on. That's what I pride this podcast on, is being 100% transparent and honest about every single thing I say. And not just honest, because that's something that I always am. But with honesty comes factual information. Everything I say on this podcast is 100% facts. And if you think otherwise, then I don't need you here. On a serious note, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this Thursday. I hope everyone enjoyed the week. Like I always say, hope you're enjoying your week. Hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you're not taking each sunrise as... I hope you're understanding that each sunrise you get is an opportunity to make your life just a little bit better. There's a lot of things to get into, right? There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things that have been going on. There's a lot of news happening, a lot of debates going on, a lot of chaos happening across the world, across the country, and I don't know. I pride myself sometimes on talking about stuff like that. Other times, I pride myself on spilling my Coke all over my my shirt. But yeah, I know people come here to listen to me talk about serious shit that's happening in our country. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get into that, we can all let's take a moment and go ahead and like the podcast episode on YouTube. Subscribe. Tell your buddies about the podcast. Go ahead, put a comment down below if you want to, or you can just follow on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast platforms. Today is actually the day I'm recording. This is International Podcast Day, so thank you, everybody who's continued showing this podcast support. I had a conversation with one of my friends, and, I think I'm being a bitch. I think I'm lying to myself. I think I'm lying to myself every single episode. I think I need to just stop overthinking everything, and I need to just buy a second mic. I need to get a second mic. I need to get people in here. I need to get guests on the podcast. I need to have conversations with people. I want to have conversations with people. I need to get a new mic. It's hard. It's like not easy to get a new mic. Like this mic right here is like $400. His arm's like $150. So it's like, it's like a $550 setup, but I need to get a second mic. I need to start getting people on the podcast because the most feedback I get, the most positive feedback I get is when I have other people on the show. And I think it allows the show to be more diverse, unique conversations happening. And it allows a podcast to go longer, which helps the algorithm, which helps the YouTube video hit more viewers. So that's something that I will be investing in super soon, within the next month. But I think by October 25th, I'm going to have it shipped. And hopefully mid-November, we're going to have consistent guests on the podcast, at least once a week. I might do like a solo show on Tuesday, have a guest on Thursday, friends, family, anybody I can get on the show. And then after that, the New Year. So the New Year's goal for this podcast, there was a time where I was saying my goal was to just get 100 episodes in, and now we're halfway to 150 episodes. from 100. So we've accomplished that goal. And I think what I want to do for the year 2021 is I want to expand the podcast into its own studio. Nothing huge, like just a tiny space, just enough to put my setup in, like this, everything that you see around me, around my head right now. I want this to be just transported into a studio, not too far from the house, somewhere where people could drive to. And I just think that will be another ingredient I can add to this recipe to expand the podcast and just make it that much better. Because at the end of the day, the content, I think, is consistent content is super important. I enjoy doing solo podcasts a lot. I enjoy getting feedback a lot. But at the same time, I also enjoy having guests on. I enjoy conversating with people. It's one of my favorite things to do. I definitely don't do it enough, but when I do it, I'm very focused on the other person who is speaking to me. And I think was one of the goals with this podcast. And for me, I think I got comfortable with just doing a solo podcast consistently, twice a week, uploading twice a week, recording twice a week. And I kind of got into this routine. I think I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to just go ahead and go all in and just get a new mic, find some studio space, get a little office space, and just see where I can take this thing, because that's where the growth is going to be. And I think that's where the exponential growth is going to be. And yes, the podcast has continued to grow, but I think I'm leaving a lot on the table. And that's just me being hypercritical of myself, which I am very good at. That's one thing with the podcast, is no matter what anybody has to say about it, if it's negative or positive or whatever it is, I am that critical on myself, except multiplied by 10 times more critical. So I'm fully aware of what I need to do. It's just doing it and doing it in a financially intelligent way. Like the podcast is making me money, but it's not making me enough so I can just expand everything that quickly. But with time and consistency, we will see that. And I want to be very honest with you and very transparent with all my listeners out there. That's where I see this podcast from this time, September 30th of 2021. I see myself in a different studio. I see myself with guests on. I see myself in episode 300 something, or episode 270, 80, 90, whatever, like that high. And I see just the growth rates through the roof, thousands of podcasts, listens a day. That's where I see it, and that's where I will continue to grow. And I know there's a lot of podcasts out there. I know there's a lot of different entertainment streams, sources out there. But I'm a big believer that if you find something, and as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, it will catch on. And when it does catch on, it's going to catch on like wildfire, no pun intended. And once that happens, it's going to be beautiful. It's already done super well, but I definitely am never satisfied with what I have. Like, I could have a beautiful setup, like I think I have, a quality, good everything, but I'm never going to be actually okay with what the podcast is. I always want to make it better and better, and I think that's the one market I can really be capturing a lot harder, is expanding it with other people on the show, me going on other shows, stuff like that. And then there's other things too I could possibly do, like Patreon, and do vlogs and stuff. Do a vlog like once a month or something like that, just to mix it up a little bit. But I'm just brainstorming here at this point. Did you guys watch the debate? I'm sure everyone did. I watched a little bit of it. It's if I had to describe the debate in two phrases, the first one would be chaos, and the second one would be embarrassed. So the idea is, in a democracy, that when you are looking for a president, you are looking for people who have the ability to be the best leader and are super competent people, and people who, and this is just my opinion, and people who can bring together the country and understand that, yes, everybody doesn't have the same viewpoint on anything, right? Like that's I think at the first thing that has to be understood by a potential leader is to understand that not everybody is going to view anything the same way that you view it, right? That's a super important thing. And as you're watching this debate, you realize that both of these people are they're not trying to understand, accept, or even rationalize or listen to the other viewpoints of the candidate, right? It wasn't about that. It was like Trump the entire time was acting like a 4-year-old kid who like wasn't getting fed lunch right at noon. Like it was chaos, just constant yelling and complaining, which for me personally, which I never have watched a political debate before. That's something that I don't do because it's so, for me, it's just, I just like to stay away from it. And I watched it this year simply for the reason that I was looking for entertainment. And it was that and more. And now, 24 hours go by or 12 hours go by and we're all like dissecting it, right? We're all dissecting this debate. Like it actually meant anything. Like I think we forget that like these debates are, the whole goal of Donald Trump and Joe Biden is to not, like as a president, your whole goal is not to actually succeed on what you say, but it's to say what you need to say to get a successful vote, right? So for me, when I'm a listener and I'm hearing, tax cuts or didn't pay your taxes or, making the military less strong or whatever, healthcare, whatever the political question is or whatever the question is based around, I completely block out what the subject of it is. Like I don't care about, like not that I don't care, but I just completely ignore that. Oh yeah, they're talking about healthcare, because I think what I've realized is that when presidents are talking about their plans or what they want to accomplish in their time as being a president, it's not going to happen. It's just simply not going to happen because of the way that the system is set up. It doesn't allow for that. It's checks and balances. Everything takes so long to get pushed through. So I listen to it just for pure entertainment. And I think if you went into it on Tuesday night and you wanted to watch it for entertainment purposes, it was the most entertaining thing I've watched in a long time. I watched about 50 minutes of it. I couldn't watch much longer than that because there's a point there where it just becomes mind-numbing. You're just like, this is absolutely exhausting. We have 125-year-olds just yelling at each other. Their dentures are falling out of their face. One's like pointing at the other one just constantly talking to the people. They're constantly interrupting each other. Trump would not shut up. Chris Wallace was such a boss. He was like basically telling the president to like shut up. Like, hey, Mr. President, I'm talking. And you're watching you hear like Trump saying shit like you haven't done stuff in like 47 years. It was just chaos. It was utter chaos. And I think it's hilarious because after the debate, now this is like weeks on end of talking about it. Like this is the focal point of the entire country now. Where in my head, I watch it, I'm like, oh, it's over. Like everything they said was just, it had no meaning. It had no depth to it, right? It had zero depth to it whatsoever. But yeah, it was fascinating. It was there. It was gone. I'm not a political expert at all. Like barely. I know anything about politics. I know more about like the legalities of things, like how it works behind the scenes, like what you can and can't do. But at the same time, I know nothing about that either. So, I don't know. A lot of people listen to it. I woke up and there's a lot of things on social media, like taking clips that each one of the people said and really expanding it and like putting it out there. And, you know, like I think there's like a huge clip of like the nationalist thing, or like he said, stand by. Trump said like stand by or something like that. Biden said, like, come on, man, shut up, or like, shut up, man, or just crazy shit. And people are using social media now to really get the points out. And it's just fucking, it's hilarious. You know, honestly, like the entire time this whole year has been going on, and just it's like what is it? It's like a little snowball that starts at the top of a mountain, but the bottom of this mountain is like poop paradise, and this entire hill is just different levels of shit. And you're slow, and like as the snowball rolls down the hill, it just gains more momentum of not a more snow but more poop, and it's just driving itself down to the bottom of this canyon, and it's going to eventually just pop, and it's just like, it's the most entertaining time, I think, to be alive. You know, I was thinking about this. I was like, for a country that's going through a pandemic, for a country that's going through a recession, I feel like we're having the greatest time ever. Like, if you look at it, like a recession usually means, like when someone says pandemic, what do you think? I think of zombies. I think of people like beating the shit out of each other like all day, every day. I'm thinking about like people starving on the streets, you know, just utter chaos. But this pandemic has been, you know, relatively easy. Like even people who can not afford, or even people who can't work are still getting paid to not work. And then a lot of protest also. And I know like a lot of chaos has been happening, but if you just like objectively look at this year, it's been a comedy show. It's been and I'm not like I'm not saying that like all the people who died, like their lives didn't mean anything. But what I'm saying is that from the outside looking in, like if I was an alien, I saw this through a snow globe. Let's just imagine a whole world's a snow globe. I would just be like, this is crazy. These humans are just nuts. They're nuts. They say crazy things. They do crazy things. These two 95-year-old men, grandpas, are trying to lead this entire country. It's like not working. You know, China's over there like releasing chemicals and shit, and North Korea, I think Kim Jong-un just came out and said that they had somebody who had a coronavirus and they just killed them. Like, you know, they just murder them to get rid of the coronavirus, I guess. It seems like we're in a play. It seems like we're living in a alternate universe. I don't know. I think 2021 is going to be a lot better. And also, if I wake up November 5th and Donald Trump's the president, whatever. And if Joe Biden's the president, whatever. And if Joe Biden wins the presidency, but Donald Trump refuses to leave the presidency, and then they like commingle, like that would be cool as shit. But I really wish Rogan was able to get him on. I was thinking like if he was able to get Donald Trump and Joe Biden on the same podcast together, and he could just get them both super duper high, just get them smoke a shit ton of weed, and have them both drink like pour each other a glass of whiskey, and then Joe was like, "Hey guys, I know what you guys want to do. You guys want to act out. You guys want to play the roles that you're supposed to play in society, but let's not do that. On my podcast, let's take the time and let's just put all the differences on the table. Let's get up like men, put down our whiskeys, take a hit of the joint, and let's hug it out. Let's just hug it out." Could you imagine if Mr. Biden went on Rogan's podcast with Donald Trump and they just hugged it out, man? Could you imagine? Can you imagine if those two people just got together and hugged it out? Everything would be fixed. We would be good. We'd be chilling. This country would be happy again. All the people who hate the Democrats, you couldn't hate the Democrats anymore because your leader now is hugging the leader of the Democrats. All the left-wing people and people who hate the Republicans and think they're all racist, I think that just because you want to have a gun means you want to kill people. All those people see their leader hug Donald Trump, who in their eyes is the ringleader of racism. Just hug it out, man. Everything would be so much easier. People would be happier. People would be crying. I think it would just cause so much peace right now. That's what we need, man. We need someone to come together and you know who we need? You know who we need right now? We need Robin Williams. We need somebody like that. We need somebody like Robin Williams to come out with just a heartfelt movie. We need someone like Robin Williams to run for president. Just kidding. He doesn't need to put himself through that. But we need like just somebody who's just a pure soul. Doesn't pick sides. Just picks peace, happiness, support, love. That's what we need. We need more love. You know what also we need? I think we need to mandate at least a 1 hour workout period for every single American citizen in this entire country. I think it should be law. It should be a law that you have to work out at least 1 hour every single day. Like bust your ass an hour, not like meditate or maybe even meditate. You got to do something that gets your heart rate up. So maybe not meditation, but anything that gets your heart rate up, that should be mandated at least 1 hour every single day, 6 days a week. I think I've said this before, but I think that would actually save our country. If everybody had to work out, it would make the country less fat, so it would help healthcare. It would be less people dying, less heart attacks, less diabetes, people are less fat. People would be happier, right? Because when you work out, I don't know, at least for me, when I work out, it's just like, let's go of all like the bullshit I have. Like for me, I don't like the person I am if I don't work out like hard, if I don't run, or if I don't lift weights, if I don't lift weights hard, if I run like a bitch, I don't like myself. I feel like I'm an angry person. I feel like I'm quicker to lose my mind, and I can't get my thoughts straight. I listen to people in a much more aggressive manner, and I think working out takes the edge off for me at least. But I think it's like that for everybody. I really do. I feel like Donald Trump just mandated a 1 hour workout period for every single American citizen, 6 days a week. He would have to do it too, which would make him nicer of a person. But everybody would have to do it. We would be happier. We would be less fat. Our healthcare would be better. We wouldn't be yelling at each other all the time. And the other rule we should make a national law mandate is that you can't use your phone for the first 2 hours of your day. Or no, first hour of your day. You can't look at your phone. So there's no more turning over and looking at your phone and immediately getting pissed off. Can't do that anymore. Phones, Apple just shuts down all access to phones for the first hour of the day. Dude, that would single-handedly solve all the issues in the country. If we just shut off all the phones for the first hour of the day, everybody had to get outside or go in the basement or just fall out of bed and do a few push-ups for an hour straight. That's all you have to do. It would make everything so much nicer. People would be smiling. People would be happy. They wouldn't be yelling at each other about everything. They would have time to think. They wouldn't act on impulses. That's what we need. We need me to be president. I'll mandate that shit. You know who we need? We need like The Rock. The Rock would do that, right? He would implement something like that. I think he would. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's what we need. We don't need stress. We don't need anger. We don't need chaos. We don't need finger pointing. We don't need yelling. We need hugs, kisses, workouts, less screen time, no more social media, more books, less violence, less hatred, less trying to get one up on somebody, less trying to win an argument, more trying to listen to the other side. That's what we need. If we want to, because I know that the future will be fine. Just will be. There's not going to be a civil war. I don't think there's no way there's going to be a civil war. Like every time we send our military into certain cities to clean it up, it gets cleaned up quickly, right? Like Seattle, we sent in our military or some federal agents and they cleaned the shit up real quick. You can only protest and act violent for so long. In Minneapolis, they did the same thing, right? You shut it down. Portland, they haven't done it yet. We're not allowed to go there. We, as in the federal agents. There won't be a civil war. There just won't be, because I think I like to believe that we're past that point of being human, that we're past the point of killing each other on the streets over who we think the leader needs to be. I like to think that. I'm not too sure though, because it's it still happens throughout the world. But I like to think that we're gone. Those days are behind us. I don't know, man. I just want everyone to be okay. I just want everyone to be happy. I don't like every day. I don't like being told that the other person is an idiot because they think this or they believe this. I don't like dealing with angry people all the time, sad people. I don't like listening panic into people's voices because they're actually so worried that if Trump wins the presidency, the world's coming to an end. It's just not. It's just simply not coming to an end. It won't. It won't do that. And I don't know why I say that, but I just know it won't. I mean, that's the issue, right? The issue is him for a lot of people. And one person is not going to completely change everything. I just don't think so. I could be wrong, and I could just be looking at this at a very optimistic lens, but I just don't see how that could possibly happen. If you study history, it takes a lot to overthrow or for a whole country to crumble. And I might be blinded by ignorance and blinded by optimism, which I'm sure I am. I'm sure there's part of that, but I just don't think so. Or I may just so badly want it not to be true. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to be taking this podcast to the next level within the next 2 months. I will start getting a continuous, consistent base of guests on the podcast. I would love to have Taylor on the podcast more often. Every time we do a podcast together, it's usually the viewers like that the most. They love listening to us talk to each other. I want to have friends, family on the podcast more. I want to get people who don't agree with anything I say on the podcast too. I don't want to debate with people, but I want to listen to people. I really want to try to figure out their pathway of thinking of certain things. I know somebody who is deeply in the wormhole of just super conspiracy, very much of a conspiracy theorist person. Everything that's not Trump is the devil. Everything Trump is Jesus. And I want to actually understand why this person thinks that. Is it a mental illness that this person has? Is it they need psychiatric help? Are they going crazy? Or do they actually believe what they believe? Because out of all the options, it makes the most sense. I really do want to go into people's psyches and really try to figure that stuff out. And I will be getting an office space relatively sooner than later. Once I can own an office space without having any worries of finances affecting me at all, then I'll expand. And I think at that point, you guys are going to really see the growth of this, and you're going to see me. I might even increase episodes. I might even do 3 episodes a week. I have this on my wrist. I got an Apple Watch, today's the 30th. I got it 21 days ago. I've been wearing it for 3 weeks straight, and I got it to run with. I highly recommend getting it. It's actually really nice. I didn't think I was going to like it because I was scared that I was going to turn into a robot because it's right up against my wrist, and I thought that if I let it stay on my wrist too long, one day I'm going to be totally okay with letting the robots inside of my body since it's already on the top part of my body. But it's It's not that bad. It tracks my calories, it tracks my movement, my heart rate, all that good stuff. And it's for someone like me who loves analytics and loves numbers, it's actually really, really good. I think it's definitely a good purchase to get. Makes I don't know. If you like numbers, I think it's something you should definitely think about getting. It gives you like awards and stuff too. I've turned off all the notifications because I don't like the buzzing because it feels like a shock collar. Like I work at Amazon, it's like a shock collar and they tell me what aisle to go through. But yeah, guys, I think that's about it. It was a short podcast, barely 30 minutes long, but it's just the kind of day, it's the weather. I don't know what it is. It's probably just me being a fucking lazy piece of shit. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will make sure next week I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you so much for continued support. Do what you do. I'll see you guys on Tuesday on October, the month of Halloween, the creepiest month of the year, in my opinion. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out. See ya.